Well, if there's one thing that the Marvels can really bank on is the fact that they're not going to be the worst movie forever. The Marvels completely bombed in the box office, the likes of which we haven't seen such a mega bomb like that in a while. You know, we've seen bombs here and there, but my goodness, the amount of money that the Marvels lost was insane. But again, like I said, the Marvels is not going to be the worst movie forever, because I would guarantee that Madam Web is going to lose more money than the Marvels. Ladies and gentlemen, Madam Web is going to be such a colossal flop, and I could say that pretty much guaranteed it's going to be such a colossal flop that even the studio seems to know this, because now it seems to be going the Echo route, where it's trying to classify itself as a standalone world film. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they are not trying to make the whole MCU thing a thing anymore. They're trying to do standalone stuff because they're only keeping some of the best stuff for the MCU. And even the best of the best stuff that they keep for the MCU is really not worth being in the MCU. So you gotta imagine just how bad something has to be for them to classify it as a standalone film, or in Echo's example, a standalone show. So let's get into this article, guys, from Bounding Into Comics. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And like the video to push us out into the YouTube algorithm. And consider subscribing to my manga channel. The links are in the description box below. I will love to see you there. So the headline reads, Madam Web director puts final nail in film's box office coffin and confirms that the Spider-Man spinoff takes place in a standalone world. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is the tall tale sign, at least now anyway. You know, back in the day, I would not have minded a standalone film because most superhero films were standalone films. There was not this whole MCU nonsense that has become what it is today. But I would have been fine with that. But now you pretty much know that standalone film means it is not good enough to be in the MCU, and considering how trash the MCU is, you gotta imagine this is gonna be a really terrible film. It says, in confirming that the film will have little to offer audiences outside of those with a specific affinity for the web slinger's female allies, or a morbid curiosity towards the fact that it actually went to the Clone Saga storyline for inspiration, Madam Web director S.J. Clarkson has revealed that rather than taking placing in Sony's Spider-Man without a Spider-Man cinematic universe, the Dakota Johnson-led spinoff instead exists in its own standalone world. This movie is going to tank, ladies and gentlemen. Clarkson confirmed that this production fumble during a January 19th interview given to Entertainment Weekly's Devin Coogan in promotion of the film's upcoming release, speaking to her decision to take a more grounded approach to Cassandra Webb's silver screen debut rather than the more fantastical and bombastic one seen in other Hollywood superhero fare. The director explained that she did so in service of what she saw as the psychological, cerebral nature of the titular heroine's powers. Not to sound too wanky about it, but it's about what's going on in Cassie's head and her grappling with that, detailed Clarkson, throwing in a spot of her native British slang. Is she going insane? Is this real? She's battling with that within herself and trying to understand it. Well, still, even if that's the story, I don't see how that could not have been part of the MCU if you wanted it to be. Let's be real, they don't want this to be part of the MCU. They want people to separate this from the MCU. This is only going to lead more credence to the argument that it's become the MCU. They're going to want to try to reduce that as much as possible because it's really ruining their entire image. Not that they had much of an image to ruin in the first place, because honestly, it's Disney, right? Disney doesn't really have an image to ruin anymore. Disney has ruined their image all the way through to the end of time. There's no way they're going to be able to recover their image at all, at least not for your normal family. But at the end of the day, this movie is showcasing exactly what happens when you take little effort and you try to plaster it onto a screen and make it sellable. This is not going to sell. This movie is going to lose so much money that I really hope that it has a minimal budget. I really do, because my God, if it has a budget that's anywhere close to the Marvels, we're going to see such a colossal failure. It says, in light of the supposed desire to keep the film from getting too in the sky with its plot, the Marvel's Jessica Jones and Marvel's Defenders director then revealed that Cassandra's story takes place completely separate from either the MCU, Sony's aforementioned Spider-Man without a Spider-Man universe, or any other established continuity. She's definitely in a standalone world, explicitly confirmed Clarkson. I was able to have free reign and let the movie be what it needed to be, as opposed to trying to force it into something else. This was a gift in a way, and to be able to make something and bring a fresh and I hope original take to it. Oh my God. She is hitting all the talking points that you know are going to lead to a bomb. Yeah, she is hitting every single one. It's going to be in a standalone world. It's not even going to be connected to Sony's Spider-Man. So forget the MCU. Not even Sony's Spider-Man is going to be connected. Then on top of that, she's trying to do a fresh and original take on it. So you already know it's going to be a movie that's made for modern audiences, right? That famous saying that ruins pretty much any excitement for any IP, video game, movie, doesn't matter, TV show. The moment they start talking like this, you're already checked out. You're not going to want to check it out. You're not going to want to see it. Chances are you already didn't want to see it. And now that they're saying this, you damn sure don't want to see it. Because let's say you're a fan of Madam Web. Let's say you're actually into the female variations of Spider-Man and you read the comics or whatever the case may be. You're going to go to this movie to go see Madam Web. And what are you going to get? You're going to get some activist version of Madam Web. You're going to get something completely different that they're going to try to tell you is an original story. It's a different take, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy, eat it up, consume, don't think about it. And that's what's going to turn people off. It says, however, while Clarkson appears to frame the decision to exile Madam Web from Marvel's cinematic universes as a purely creative one, given a recent whisper on the digital street, it seems more likely that the move was decided upon thanks to Sony executives absolutely destroying both the film's internal and franchise timeline in service of chasing marketing synergy with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Per veteran Hollywood industry reporter and eponymous founder of the Insider Entertainment news outlet Jeff Snyder, who first relayed the rumor via the January 19th episode of him and his film critic John Roach's Hot Mic podcast, that's because of the film's setting sometime in the Sony universe past. Madam Web's studio handlers thought for some reason that Andrew Garfield was going to be Spider-Man in that world. So they were going with a completely different Spider-Man, like even completely, like they completely forgot about Tom Holland, I guess. Like they're not even acknowledging it. So I guess they had to kind of double back and fix it and try to make it about Tom Holland or something. I don't really know, but I guess we're going to find out. It says not that he was going to be in the movie, but like maybe this is for sequels or whatever he added, but for whatever reason, Andrew Garfield was supposed to be the Spider-Man in that world. To this end, Snyder then alleged that following the film entering production with Garfield's Peter Parker in mind as his resident web-slinger, afterwards it was decided it was going to be Tom Holland's Spider-Man, a change which in turn meant that the timeline didn't line up anymore. As such, the industry veteran then revealed, I heard that the reshoots for Madam Web, the latest reshoots, which I thought they were up to something else, but I'm told the reshoots were actually to remove all the 90s reference from the movie because someone effed up doing the math as far as like Tom Holland's age would actually be in this or whatever it was. That's what the reshoot was for, like to address whether it's costumes or style of phone they flip out. I don't effing know. Snyder ultimately concluded on his scoop, I was told it was a real somewhat effed up like moment up high in terms of the timeline and the math, and it was just a simple matter of fucked up math. So ladies and gentlemen, this movie is not even being made in the correct timeline. They had to reshoot everything in order to fix it. They don't even know what Spider-Man they were going to use. I mean, it's a cluster. It's obviously a cluster. There is no synergy in this movie. And if anybody thought there was going to be, now you're having confirmation from the people who are making it themselves, telling you up front that this movie is not going to be synergized with anything. No MCU, no Sony version, nothing. This entire thing is going to be a whole bunch of Spider-Girl bosses in one singular movie, and they're expecting you to be excited about that. So whether or not you go watch it, that's up to you. It's your money. Do what you want. But I, of course, as I always do with Marvel, will not be watching this nonsense. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.